Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone. This is Shanmugaraj. Welcome to AgileBizLeaders. This is an initiative to build a global knowledge sharing platform in the domains of leadership, project management, and agile. You can join me and elevate this by subscribing to AgileBizLeaders and sharing my videos to our friends who are in part of or who are in need of this information. Having said that, let us get into today's video. Currently, we are discussing some of the leadership thoughts and ideas from MIT Sloan School of Management. Today's topic is a secret to successful GenAI implementations. This particular article has been published in MIT Sloan yesterday. This article talks from a voice of workers. Why does that matter? When stakeholders become more involved in generative AI design and implementation, it's more likely that such tools will augment work rather than displace workers. There is a white paper with the topic of bringing workers' voice into generative AI. The researchers explained that generative AI is well suited to bottom up development and use. They also contend that the more that stakeholders are involved in defining the problems and opportunities the technology can address, the more likely it is that these tools will be used to augment how workers do their jobs rather than displace them, right? So, this paper was written by Thomas, Ben Armstrong, Julie Shaw, Emilio, and Ben Lickis and Martha, all of MIT, right? So it draws on more than 50 interviews with academics, business managers, AI experts, and labor leaders, and it's also gated by the researchers' earlier work. So this particular paper, white paper, they are suggesting four phases to incorporate workers' voice into technology design and implementation of Gen AI projects, right? The steps are first to define the problem or opportunity that the technology will address, and then you design the technical and work process features. Then you educate and train the workforce, and finally ensure a fair transition and compensation for the affected workers. The first phase in Gen AI implementation could be defining an opportunity as a problem statement that the technology will address, right? So, as a business prepares to invest in generative AI, it might seem logical to create a task force or a senior level C-suite executives to decide use cases and where to implement the technology, right? So, after all, there are employees who know the direction in which the company wants to go, right? But the better approach is to apply an inverse perspective, which takes workers' voice a lot more seriously, right? In these cases, leaders establish an open line of communication with employees and ask for feedback from their employees, especially those doing routine work that could augmented by AI, right? So at those companies, there is a channel for any worker at any level of the company to say, hey, I have an idea that this technology might be useful for. The second phase could be designing the needed technical and work process features, right? So worker voice can also be included through experimentation with the new technology and participatory design practices and events. Employees who know a work process very well can meet the generative AI vendors to discuss their work, what they need, and how the AI tool could be updated or built around their process. Another approach could be to upskill those workers in generative AI or robotic process automation that gives the process expert some extra technical expertise instead of having one person who is the business partner consulting for the front lines. It takes the frontline worker and gives them a boost. The third phase could be educating and training the workforce in the skills needed, right? So, workers' voice is important for understanding business processes and daily tasks, and it becomes even more valuable when those workers get the chance to use the AI tools being implemented to improve their work processes and outputs. So, consider US schools and teachers' unions that have adopted remote learning and associated AI tools post pandemic. Rather than banning the technology from their classrooms, teachers took the initiative to learn and apply it to their work and suggested where and when to put guidelines in place. So that technology really opened up some new opportunities for individual learning and supplementing what the teachers can do personally. So, and the unions are working with some of the education technology vendors to say let's not naively argue that this technology is going to replace the human teacher, but let's figure out how we can use it to augment what we do. Fourth phase is ensuring a fair transition and compensation for affected workers, right? So it's not known just how many workers will see their work augmented or replaced by generative AI. But the researchers write that regardless of the size or pace of displacement, actions are needed to ensure fair transition adjustment processes, policies, and practices in place. So, this responsibility will largely fall on employers and unions since they have a long history of negotiating in the areas like worker reskilling, pay adjustments, severance packages, and retirement incentives. Protections against monitoring of work or personal activities, use of personal data, and use of AI-generated data for disciplinary actions are also getting negotiated into bargaining agreements where needed. A broad example of this is December 2023 agreement between Microsoft and the AFL-CIO. The partnership created an open dialogue to discuss how artificial intelligence must anticipate the needs of the workers and include their voices in its development and implementation. The partnership established three goals: that Microsoft will provide labor leaders and workers with information about AI developments, and that worker perspectives and expertise will be shared with Microsoft AI developers to inform their technology development, and that Microsoft and the AFL CAO will work together to help shape public policy that supports frontline workers' technology skills and needs. Right. So though still it is in early stages, right? The partnership is positive development and shows how some unions are working with, technology vendors rather than opposing it actually. So with this, we come to the conclusion of this video. Hope you guys got a fair understanding on how to go about, implementing change management projects and programs with GenAI implementations from a worker's point of view, right? So we talked about four phases: defining the problem statement or opportunity statement, listening from workers' voice, augmenting their work, listening their, since they're working on the ground, right? We know, and listening from that side of it, and definitely it's going to augment GenAI implementation, helping them in upskilling, helping them in educating them, all right, and then compensating them in some cases, right? That's very important, right? So I hope you guys like these kind of videos that helps you to become better leader, right? So tell me your story of implementing GenAI into a company. How do you go about these spaces? Discuss about it, right? That will be appreciated, right? So with that, I'm signing off. See you in next video.